Facebook has taken a big step forward in its plans to jump out of your phone and into your wallet. The California-based company has plans next year to launch Libra, a new cryptocurrency that links to digital wallets in apps such as Messenger and WhatsApp. Libra will differ from other digital coins in that it plans to provide a decentralised but stable token, something crypto experts are calling an on-ramp for digital currencies.
Crypto today is very much like the internet was in the early 90s before the introduction of the browser. The internet was very difficult to use and very few people did. And then Netscape came along, introduced the browser, and all of a sudden millions, hundreds of millions of people over the next few years were using the internet. And we think that we could be at that inflection point today with cryptocurrency with Facebook Coin.
It may be a brave new world, but the move could be unwelcome competition for banks, fintechs and credit card providers. Already, Facebook's financial plans have sparked an international backlash. There are calls for a regulatory clampdown, and the French government says it's out of the question that Facebook should be allowed to launch a sovereign currency. I spoke with Elvira Soiley from UNSW Business School about what Facebook is trying to achieve. Elvira Soiley, is this just another cryptocurrency?
Facebook says it is, but if you look at the definition of a cryptocurrency, and you can find as many definitions as you like, but I think in general the common features of a cryptocurrency are that it has to be independent from a central bank, it's an asset, it's a digital asset, it's a medium of exchange, and it's encrypted and verified in a public space. Then maybe Facebook's new issue, or Libra, is not going to be a cryptocurrency to start with, because basically it's centralized, it's pegged on the US dollar and a whole basket of other assets, real assets.
Why are they doing this, do you think?
They're, officially from what I've read and gathered, the reason why they want to do it publicly is to bank the unbanked. So they have 2.6 billion users. A lot of these people currently are not formally in the banking system.
Is this an interesting transition for a social platform to now be moving to a financial platform?
They claim that the information that comes from Calibra will remain within Calibra, so will not be merged with personal information of the individuals that are using Facebook. However, whatever transactions are carried out with Libra within the WhatsApp, Instagram and so on messaging systems, they are already mapped to the individuals that are using these systems. So their transactions and individuals are mapped. However, not much of this will go beyond into the Facebook users and the use of Facebook as is now.
Do you believe that that's what will eventuate, that they won't be exploiting that information?
Ultimately, the purpose of issuing such a currency or a digital asset is to probably use this in the future. However, there is a lot of legislative pressure. They haven't issued anything yet, and already legislators are upon them.
Well, of course, they've got a reputational issue here. The Cambridge Analytica issue is not very old, so they need to be rebuilding up that trust with their users and with regulators. Is that possible?
Looking at how their number of users hasn't decreased after what happened with Cambridge Analytica tells me that they haven't really paid a price customer-wise. And customers have been very willing to continue to share their private information with Facebook on everything that pertains to their everyday life. So just adding one more bit to it, it's not probably going to change how they feel about Facebook.
As you've alluded, there's a lot of regulatory approvals to overcome as well. And perhaps in each country that they operate in, that's clearly going to be a headache.
The problem with these cryptocurrencies arises from the fact that regulators don't quite know whether to design them as securities or not. And if they're not securities, they're not bound by regulation. But Facebook issuing Libra will definitely accelerate the process of thinking about how to define cryptocurrencies and whether to bring them into the portfolio of securities quite quickly.
It seems that the Facebook plan has a couple of stages, starting with the digital wallet, but eventually getting to lending. Is that going to be real competition for traditional banks?
Oh yeah, definitely. This is going to be a big shakeup of banks. I think the other area which will be majorly challenged is central banks. Central banks have all been playing around the margin, understanding whether to issue central bank digital cash, and they've been thinking about this precisely for the reason that they are worried that many people will choose to use these currencies which are outside of their purview. And Facebook trying to bring this to the market will definitely accelerate their thinking process about should we issue this and compete and move out of the market all these other cryptocurrencies through our own digital cash, because this is the only way they can keep track of monetary policy.
Do you expect that in 10, 20 years' time we won't have physical cash anymore and it will all be digital?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable expectation now. It wasn't the case 3 to 5 years ago, but given the major players that have entered the market and are challenging existing fiat currencies, fiat money, it has to be. Central banks will have to do something to retain their, not necessarily power, but their managing ability of the transmission of money and of monetary policy. So it's a must.
Elvira Soiley, thanks for speaking to The Business.
Thank you.